What's going on, guys? I don't know what I did. I bought this 09 G5 sight unseen. I wanted to get something because all my projects are done. I wanted something cheap. Like I said, sight unseen. Haven't never heard it run. Nothing. And you know, here it is. It's mine now. I now have 10 cars. No, I'm just kidding. I now have 5 cars at this house. So what we're gonna do today, because it's already late and it's getting dark, I managed to drive it home. It barely made it. I mean, I'm talking foot on the gas, foot on the brake, letting it die, starting it back up. This thing barely made it home, but I got it home. We're gonna tear some of the body parts off. We're gonna try to knock the core support out away from the engine, because the engine is not running right. And before we can really go out and put any parts into this or even think about fixing the body, we have to fix the drivability issues. If we cannot fix the drivability issues, this car is done. We're gonna stop right now. There's no reason to go any further. We're gonna tear the hood off. Let's pull out the headlights. Let's try to bust the core support straight as best we can. Core support's made of a light metal. I'm going to use a board and a big effing hammer. We're going to try to knock it as straight as we can. And then we're going to try to figure out what's going on with the drivability issues. This car is not worth a lot of money. I'm not going to be able to sell it for a lot of money. So this is going to be a budget project. This is going to be, we're not going to half-ass and make it unsafe, but we will be doing whatever we can to save money on this project so that someone can get a decent car that runs and drives well, that's going to be safe for a reasonable amount of money, and hopefully I can still make a little something on top of it as well. So let me shut up, let's get into this and see what we can get done today.
So unfortunately, the majority of this video is going to have to be voiceover. My GoPro was set to wind and it cut almost everything I said out of the video, which really sucks because that means there's a whole lot more work for me to do today. Obviously, this is at the Copart lot. This is, I literally got it just like this, sight unseen, and you know, this is my first look at it in the Copart yard. Now, when the guy drove it out to me, it was barely even running. I'm talking like spitting and sputting and dying, and then you have to restart it. I'll be honest with you, this was not a good pick. You know, if you haven't figured it out yet, this was a very bad decision. To make matters worse, I bid on it at Subway. I was actually in the middle of eating lunch, and I wasn't going to buy any cars today, but I ran out of projects. You know, my projects are done. I need to get everything up for sale, and I really wanted another project. I saw this one had what looked like a light front end hit, said it was a run and drive, and I was like, you know, the bid was at $450. I won the bid at $500. And with Copart fees and everything, came out to like $785. It's a $785 car. Big deal. You know, what's the worst that can happen? Well, here we go. We're going to take a look at the front end here. Like I said, to start off with is the fact that it's not just body damage. It barely runs at all. Look at this core support. I was really hoping that this, you know, if it had core support damage, this would be one that was bolted on, and it's not. This is a welded core support. So, like I said just a little bit ago, we're going to have to come at that from the back and do our best to straighten it out so that we can get the body panels back on. Looks like we're going to have to replace the bumper, obviously the headlights. This thing was a disaster.
All right, let's see if we can move this piece of crap. At least get it parked somewhere so I can come get it later. Surprisingly, it actually drives pretty well. I mean, it doesn't drive bad at all. It doesn't steer bad. Runs rough at an idle. Once you get on the gas, it does fine. Huh. At the gas station, I got it a few miles and it just it wasn't doing good. I couldn't keep it running. It was dying at the stoplights. So I looked at the title. I just filled up the tank. I looked at the title. Title says that it was in an accident back in May of 17, which means it's been sitting for about a year with ethanol gas, most likely. Most people put ethanol in their gas. Ethanol breaks down after a few months. It goes pretty bad, and after that it breaks down really quickly. So I was thinking, you know, this is probably just bad ethanol gasoline, and it looks like that's what it was. I filled the tank up. I managed to put about 7 gallons of fresh non-ethanol fuel in it, and as you can see, it's idling just fine on its own. I'll put it in gear. This is where it was jumping and dying on me. And although it doesn't run perfectly, it's running pretty damn good on its own right now. You can see the tack isn't jumping around anymore. It's not dying. So I think we're good to finish getting this thing home.
All right, so as you can see, we made it home. Driving this thing was probably one of the worst ideas I've ever had. This should have been towed, but the problem is with as cheap as this car is, and I know it's going to need some work, towing it was just going to be an added expense that we could not afford. So I 2-footed it, got it home. It seemed to run a lot better on the way back. We're just doing another walk around to show you we made it to the house. Now we're going to jump in the Jeep. We got to get back to Copart because I left my car on their lot and they're about to lock the gate. So let's get out of here.
All right, here we are in the Jeep. Heading to Copart. Hoping they didn't lock us out. Good, good, good. The gate's still open. There's the cruise. All we gotta do is find somewhere to park this thing so we can be done with it. Okay. So let's park the cruise. This is difficult to do with one person. In fact, it's almost impossible. But we're gonna get it done. We're gonna take the cruise. We're gonna park it in an empty driveway over here in front of Copart. You can see the Jeep is right, well, you probably can't see the Jeep. Jeep is right there. We are gonna park the cruise right here and just leave it. We're just gonna park it right here. Hope that nobody screws with it, and we'll come back and get it later this evening. All right, just like that. Now we'll walk over to the Jeep, lock this up. Let's head back to the house. Got to get the car washed, get it all shined up. All right, guys, this kid right here, what's your name?
Nick.
Where'd you come from? Whose kid are you?
I'm from my
Who's your mom?
Jessica.
Jessica. Okay, so this is my fiance's kid, and he decided he wants to come out here and work on the jalopy. This thing is, it's not worth doing. It's really not worth fixing, but we're gonna try, right? All right. For I guess you got your gloves on. Show the camera you got gloves to protect your hands. All right. Now we're gonna start with this headlight over here. So let me try grabbing the whole thing. One hand on this side, one hand over here, and just trying to pull the whole thing out. There you go. Give it a good tug. Don't be afraid of it. There you go. You got it. Well, there you go. There's your one piece to toss in the trash. Whoa, looky there. All right, hold on. We're gonna take the bulbs out. About that. Good job, dude.
Do we need the airbags?
Do we need them?
Car piece.
Well, we're starting to knock this out from the engine right here. That's good.
I've got another piece of I should
It is. It's actually almost straight. Come here and look. Do you see where this mark is right here? These marks all over? You see scratches right here? This is where all of this was crushed into it. Same with here. So although it doesn't look like we're doing much, we actually are.
Alright, so we've actually gotten quite a bit done here. As you can see right here, the core support was crunched into the engine itself. You can see the marks on the motor. I know the core support's not going to come out looking too pretty like this, but I do believe we'll be able to straighten this out. What I'm touching right there is the airbag crash sensor. And yes, I was kind of beating on that area, so I will probably be sourcing another airbag sensor and tossing that one in the trash. We did pull the wires and unplug it and everything so that, you know, you're not going to get the airbags deploying as soon as you turn on the car. But the goal is to try to just knock that core support as straight as possible so that we can get everything lined up. The bumper I was hoping we could reuse, but it looks like it is broken to a point where we may not be able to use it either. So, you know, we may have to replace more parts, but it is what it is. Next, it's time to address the drivability issue. We've definitely got something going on here where the engine does not want to run. It's constantly dying and spitting, sputting, shaking and jerking. So I I feel like something was damaged in the accident, and this whole air intake system that I'm pulling off right here, if you get an air leak, a crack in this, then the mass airflow sensor will not read properly, and that will cause this type of an issue. It will cause huge idle issues, drivability issues in general, because you're getting more air into the engine than the mass airflow is able to read. Therefore, you're going to end up running really lean because you'll have more air than fuel. So we're just going to tear into this and check it out, see if we got any cracks, anything busted, anything obvious at all. Next, we're going to take a look at this blue driver. This is a Lemur blue driver module. This is the dongle that plugs into your OBD2 port. I've had this for, I think, about 2 years now. This thing is a lifesaver. It will read and clear ABS codes, check engine codes, body control module codes, airbag codes. This thing does everything. It was $100, and a link to this will be in the description because this thing has been a lifesaver. This is the Blue Driver app. The app is free, but it only works with that Blue Driver dongle. And I'm telling you, I swear by this thing. It will read absolutely everything in a car, freeze frame data, it does it all. And as you can see here, map sensor is one of the issues, system lean bank 1, just like I said earlier, and a multiple random cylinder misfire. I believe all of these to be due to a vacuum leak somewhere caused by the accident. I just have yet to find it, so we're going to continue digging into this. We'll clear these codes and see what comes of it.
You know, not everything can be recorded 24/7. So check this out. Spend a little time fiddling around with it. Like I said, GMs are my cars, man. Wow. It's still running fine. Oh, it's got a little power. Uh-oh. Don't worry, we're just going around my property. Love this tree right here. Look at that Oklahoma sky. How did I do it, you say? Well,
it never hurts when you're having issues like this to clean your mass airflow sensor with this specific mass airflow sensor cleaner. And on top of that, I did a throttle body clean using this CRC throttle body and air intake cleaner, as well as a really soft bristled brush. These things definitely help. And although I would like to say that is what fixed the problem, unfortunately it's not. But it's one of those things where it didn't hurt anything to do this anyway. The problem came in right here. There's a clamp that holds this air intake onto the throttle body, and in the accident, when the core support crunched up against the air intake, it actually bent the clamp. And when it bent the clamp, it left a pretty good gap where air was leaking straight into the throttle body through the air intake. So ultimately, that air leak, which, like I said earlier, I knew it was a vacuum leak, that was the issue. Now it runs great, so now we can focus on sourcing parts and pricing panels for this car. All right, so final thoughts. The car is a piece of junk. It's not worth fixing, but I'm going to go price parts anyway, especially now that it's running well. I'm glad I was able to get all this done today. I mean, when you think about it, I really did accomplish a lot. Not only did I find a car, bid on a car, win a car, get the cashier's check, pay for the car, cripple the car home, get back, pick up the other car, get back home, knocked out the core support, pulled off the hood, the headlights, a lot got done today. I mean, a lot got done in a short amount of time. So really happy that I was able to get so much accomplished. I'm glad that it's running well. I'm going to keep messing with it, make sure it stays running well before I actually purchase the parts. I know today you're watching this video, but for me it's tomorrow. It's now the next day. This video was actually recorded yesterday. I'm going to go out to LKQ and pull apart today. I'm going to see if I can find all the parts that I need: bumper, headlights, grill, hood, etc., etc. We're going to see what we can do to get some parts for this, or at least price them out today. With the end goal being to put it back together as cheaply as possible, make it a decent car for somebody, and hopefully still be able to make a few dollars off of it as well. So that's the end of the video. Guys, I know you're going to laugh at me on this one, but that's what this video and this channel is for. You get to watch and learn. And the thing about bidding on a smartphone is don't do it. Just don't do it. The pictures are teeny tiny. You can't see anything. Just don't bid from a smartphone, okay? Bid at least from a computer. I highly recommend you check cars out, look them over before you buy. I typically... it seems the majority of the cars I end up with are cars that I never even looked at. I'm pretty lucky. I think I'll be able to come out okay on this one, but there is a possibility I'm going to lose money. But keep in mind, this is what I do for fun. This is a hobby for me. I enjoy this kind of stuff. This isn't like my livelihood depends on it. This is something I really enjoy, and I enjoy sharing it with you guys. Because this is just so much fun for me. So be very careful bidding on cars, and I highly recommend you don't ever bid on a car on your cell phone unless it's a car you've already looked over in person first. So thank you for watching. Comment below. Feel free to make jokes and laugh at me. Tell me what you think of the progress made today. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, like this video, because as I say in every video, giving me a thumbs up, it really helps with YouTube interactions. It helps YouTube decide whether they want to share it with more people, which expands the channel, which helps me do more of these videos. So a thumbs up is a great help to me. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.